The majority of us has a common idea that urbanization and ecology don't match together.
Today's world of increasing infrastructure and need to accommodate the growing population, high-rise structures are becoming increasingly common. We already know that the image of the city and the human behavior match with direct and indirect relations. So this drives us to the idea that architecture and urban planning are drawing the world map. Can we then urbanize our cities while saving the planet? What does the city's form actually mean to the people who live there? What can the city planner do to make the city's image more vivid and memorable? To answer those questions, Mr. Lynch, supported by studies of Los Angeles, Boston, and New Jersey City, formulates a new criterion, imageability, and shows its potential value as a guide for the building and rebuilding of cities. The wide scope of this study leads to an original and viral method for the evaluation of the city image and form. The city is described with its surrounding and elements. Understanding problems, opportunities, and using them in the design of the city draw its real image. People's perception of the city is so important. Going through a city from the viewer's mind is the image of the city. Paths, channels by which people move along, like roads, sidewalks, rails, etc. Edges, diving lines between two phases, seashores and railway lines. Districts, sections of the city characterized by a wealth neighborhood. Landmarks, points of reference which makes the self-orientation more simple. Nodes, area of strategic spots where extra focus is given, like busy intersections and city centers. Another term introduced by Lynch is the quality of physical object, which gives the observer a strong and vivid image. High imageable city would be well formed and would contain distinct paths. They should be instantly recognizable. Well-formed city is highly dependent upon the elements. Remembering your city in images is meaningful. Well-designed paths include spatial lighting and clarity of direction, similarly with nodes, landmarks, districts, and edges. When those elements are placed in good form, they increase human ability to see and remember patterns. And it is those patterns which make easier to learn and know the city. The circles represent the major elements of the city through which its image has been derived from the people. A person's perception of the world is known as a mental map. A mental map is an individual's own map. Mental maps of individual can be investigated by asking for directions to a landmark, or by asking someone to draw a sketch map of an area to describe it, by asking also a person to name as many places as possible in a short period of time. We can all have this question of how can we evaluate a mental map? Mental maps can be evaluated in terms of identity. What makes this particular image unique among cities, or how the image is spatially formed and meaningful, and what values are attached to the image through which each one can locate himself. Every person has a mental map according to his or her perception and understanding for the city. Lynch's works influenced humanistic design planning and environmental psychology. However, he was a planner who played an important role in American city design. Very few had thought about the psychological importance of our senses in understanding the city design before him. It is so important to understand the ways in which people perceive their environment to gain a deeper understanding of constructing cities. In 1971, Ken Jeong came to show his interest to ecological architecture. Ken Jeong believes that through distinctive green aesthetic and ecology-based approach, we can integrate nature in every modern structure, making it not only eco-friendly but also elegant. Dr. Jeong shed light on upcoming concept of sustainable architecture through eco-design and master planning, both which will lead the way to bring out the perfect balance between nature and design. Dr. Jeong started with putting attributes for constructed eco-design. Those attributes are ecosystems, biological structure, another attribute is ecosystems biodiversity. By creating habitats, selecting flora species to attract fauna, and select faunal species to be brought back to locality. About the ecosystem's hydrology, Ken Jeong was convinced that it's all about recycling. Ken Jeong suggested 4 methods for recycling water: green street infiltration planter, permeable paving and rain garden, infiltration bioswale, rain garden, and stormwater wetland canal. Ecosystem responds to climate in different biomes along the planet. If we adopt techniques called bioclimatic as in the red part, we can improve the comfort conditions without any need to technology or mechanical electrical systems. Ken Jeong was thinking even about the smallest details, like ecosystems in food production. He thought about sustainable farming, sustainable buildings, sustainable architectures. He thought about constructing an organic, sustainable life to save the world, to save us, and to save even the future generations. In 2020, as a PhD student and researcher, I came with my own perception for the city, the reimaging of the city or its future image. We may have to think not only what the man perceives of the city as it was already identified in the 60s. The book is in the news of this early century. Indeed, the concept of image of the city has not been updated since the 1970s. After disappearance of urban landmarks within metropolis, a return to the cities begins. The title and question form and the notion of sustainability introduce the doubt of our time.